Hello everyone, and welcome to the next edition of the Holland Land Office Museum's Artifact video series. My name is Ryan Duffy, I'm the director of the museum, and this week we're going to talk about a unique war item that we have, and that is a periscope that was used in World War I by a local soldier named Ward B. Manchester. So we're going to go through this item and a little bit of its history and how it was used in World War I. So as I mentioned, what I have in my hands here is a telescope or more periscope from World War I. Now, we're probably familiar with periscopes on submarines or ships, but this was actually used in the trenches of World War I. Now, trench fighting, especially when the Americans come in towards the end of the war, it is very unsafe to keep your head above the parapet, the front side of the trench, but otherwise, it really makes it hard to tell what the enemy is doing. So what the warring powers came up with were things very similar to this, which were just simple periscopes, which had a sight, which is here on the middle part, which can be adjusted. Now this one is from 1918, so this is very at the end of the war, when the U.S. forces were over in France. And at the top, there's a secondary lens which allows you to see over. So when you're in the trench and you're trying to pick out the enemy's movements or get some information, you would go up to the top of the parapet, keeping your head below it, thus safe from machine guns or snipers or even artillery shells that were bursting, and you would put it up and hopefully get it enough above the trench that you would have a good field of vision and adjust and try to pick out points on the enemy lines or other points of interest that you would need to have when conducting the operations in the trenches. It's a very simple tool with a wooden handle and a few pieces of metal and a few pieces of glass. Not a whole lot to it, but it was an ingenious method in order to keep soldiers safe, but also to keep an eye on what the enemy was doing. So something very simple tool that was developed to combat a very serious problem during World War I. Now this one was donated by Ward B. Manchester, who was actually a medical corpsman in the war and was a doctor back home here and even was a county coroner for a time. So not sure if he used this personally during the war, but he's the one who brought it back. So as an officer, he might have had one of these, maybe to spot wounded as a medical corpsman. So it's a nice, nifty little piece of military history, especially something that seems so outdated, but it was so useful over 100 years ago. Well, we hope you enjoyed this edition of the Artifact video series and learned a little bit more about our World War I periscope. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up or subscribe to the channel. It helps us out and gets you notified even quicker when we release new videos. And be sure to check out our back catalog, as it's nearly 200 videos of artifact videos, so there's plenty of material to go back and look at, not to mention all of our guest speakers, our concerts, our Java with Joes, so there's even more material to check out than just our weekly videos. But as always, the best way to learn anything more about the artifacts that we feature in these videos or the people and stories that we feature is to come to the museum and see them for yourself. In many cases, we can show you these artifacts up close and personal and give you more information than what we include in these short videos. And if you're really interested in the local history of Genesee County and the Holland land purchase and want to support what we do here at the Holland Land Office Museum, the best way to do that is to become a member of the museum, which can go for as low as $25 for a year, and it gets you a load of benefits on top of that.